Any of you people out there that find humor in this, you're really a sick, vapid person. You got no soul. You think it's funny? This is a sick society. This has gone beyond the pale. You people should be ashamed of yourself.
All right, I hope you all enjoyed that new intro. It's a new era. New intro music, new era, new co-host. We're sad to see Dom go, but you know what? Out with the old, in with the new. I have with me the very handsome, strong, smart, intelligent. Oh, wait, no, I don't have any of those things. I have Doug.
Ryan. My wedding day, the days my kids were born, and the day you asked me to come on co-host this show with you are the most memorable days of my life, I tell you.
Well, I hope you and the other 10 listeners that listen and watch the show will embrace you because, Doug, you're an incredible person, incredible co-host. Of course, I've co-hosted with Doug on his Rocky Minute podcast. He's come on my other Rambo and Rocky podcast as well, One More Round, and It's a Long Road. You've guessed it on those. And, of course, we do a standalone podcast on the last of the Action Heroes Podcast Network where we cover Sylvester Stallone films that are not Rambo or Rocky. It's just called the Sylvester Stallone Podcast Network, which we do with our buddy Craig. But anyways, yeah, I needed a co-host. Dom wanted out. He wanted out of this racket. I don't blame him. I understand. But Doug, we're doing an emergency episode. We actually had something else planned for today, as in we were going to continue, and we will continue the Pop Crime TV interview with Lauren and Frank Stallone, because everything's clippable. When you listen to that interview, it's like everything's clippable that Frank says, as per normal. And we might have another 2 episodes from that interview alone. But in my YouTube search today, like literally today at work, I was like, I was kind of bored. I was looking up Frank clips and stuff. He found himself on another show about politics and all this stuff. And with the current atmosphere that's going on in the United States of America, I think it would behoove us. And it's only fair to the American people that we get Frank's thoughts on the election. His voice needs to be heard. Minds need to be changed. People need to vote. As Frank says, they need to vote. And I don't even know what he's going to say. Let's just get into it. Dom and Doug, literally your first 2 letters are D&O.
I got big shoes to fill. Dom was incredible. I loved listening to you guys together, and I hope I could do half a good a job as he did.
You will do a great job. Dom was incredible. We all have different abilities and gifts. He was the actor, the character actor, his voices, and I don't even do voices either. So the voices are going to end on this show, unfortunately.
Yeah. So. Mine are terrible.
Ours are terrible. Now, Frank Stallone was a guest on a show on YouTube. Of course, you've heard of this show before, right? It's called Real America's Voice. You've heard of the show, Doug?
No, I was wondering who the hell these people were and why, if they're political pundits, why did they go to Frank Stallone for a comment?
How dare you? Of course they went to Frank Stallone for comment. Well, who else would they go to? What other celebrity could they go to regarding what Frank has to say?
Well, they're coming out of the woodwork now, so you have your choice. I guess Frank Stallone is on that list. He's on the C or D list, but on the list.
Is there other celebrities that are pro-Trump that we're aware of?
Obviously, Elon Musk.
Is he pro-Trump?
There's a bunch of country singers. The guy in Shazam, he came out and supported Trump.
Really? What's his name again? Zachary Levi or something like that? Or is that what his name?
Yeah, sounds right.
He was also on that show, Chuck. Oh, I didn't know that. Interesting. So Frank Stallone was a guest on Real America's Voice. This video that we're going to watch, it's a month old, but it doesn't mean that the information is not current. And it has 111 views. So America has really listened to this episode, I think.
Is this a podcast? Is it a news show? Who are these people?
These are all amazing questions. We're going to get to the video. The video is on a guy's channel named Bo Davidson. He's got 3,000 subs. Sure. His videos, they're about as many views as we get, which is fair, but I'm also not Bo Davidson. Bo Davidson, I think he fancies himself basically a Keith Urban type person. I think he's like the Wish.com version of Keith Urban.
We're all the Wish.com version of somebody out there. So,
well, sure.
We're the Wish.com version of podcasters.
That's true. Very fair. Very fair. Well, let me just give you a video here of him singing a song. And he's a decent singer. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying he's not a bad singer, but he definitely has the stylings of Keith Urban. Okay.
Mhm.
West Virginia, Blue Ridge Mountains, Shenandoah River.
He's got a decent voice. I've seen some of his other videos on his channel, but like you're saying, Doug, who is he? Who are they? What is the show?
Mhm.
What I love about Bo, you got to check him out. He was on another news show called Sky News Australia. I think there's fake news shows out there. I think this is what I'm gathering. There's like, they put these backdrops on their camera. They have the stylings of CNN or Fox News, but they're just made up news channels.
Totally. So it's basically just a podcast, just set up to look like a
Right.
news show.
The title of this video is Frank Stallone on Real America's Voice. So I'm thinking, is that the name of the show or the name of the episode? Well, it's the name of the show. The icon comes up, Real America's Voice, and it comes up Special Report.
Everybody knows, yeah, he did a little doo-wop thing.
It has like an intro there. You hear the music. It shows like some Malibu or some rich area. I don't know why they show that. Then they're cutting into the scene, of course, of Rocky, where Sly and Frank are going to shake hands, singing doo-wop. You know, that part of the first Rocky film, of course.
In the first Rocky film, and they think, oh, that's cute. You know, Sylvester had his brother sing a little thing at the beginning. And then you dig deeper and you find out, wow, this guy's a tremendous musical artist in his own right.
It was something I was born.
For the record, dear listeners, I haven't listened to this interview yet. Have you, Doug?
Yeah, I watched it after you sent it.
Okay, so Doug's a little bit more prepared than me. I had it at work, so I wasn't able to watch it. This is an emergency episode, so I'm coming in wholly unprepared. Doug, you might be co-host today or the new co-host, but I'm going to be relying on you and your insight on this incredible report. So the beginning of the episode is, I guess, Bo Davis and his crew. He's got with him Michelle Backus and Tara Dahl. It says here, the interview actor and musician Frank Stallone on the show, Special Report.
This beginning part, this first 30 seconds or so, they're showing snippets of the documentary Stallone, Frank, that is.
It's exactly what they're doing.
Have you watched that
Oh, yeah, of course.
documentary?
So Derek Wayne Johnson, of course, the director, editor of that incredible documentary, Stallone Frank, that is, put this way, it's the best thing Frank's ever done. Is his documentary, and that's it's no small part due to Derek, who Frank refuses to give any kind of credit or acknowledgement to for that documentary, which is
You should be
ridiculous.
thanking Derek.
Yeah. They showed some clips from that documentary, which of course bolsters Frank's appeal. Like, yeah, this is a Frank Stallone. Yeah, you know. And now we've got Bo on the left. I'm not sure who's in the middle there. Two blonde.
They're dressed sensibly like news reporting
Sure.
women are.
And you got Bo there looking tight. He's got his sandy blonde hair and his rustic cowboy beard. And
He
all right,
puts that blow dry to work with that hairdo, man.
Oh,
Look at that
man.
thing.
Frank wishes he had that hair. I'll
Oh,
tell you
yeah.
that.
Wonder if Bo's is natural.
I think Bo's might be natural. I think so. I like to think so. Bo, please.
So
tell
is
me he's
Frank's,
not-
though, you know.
Oh, come on now. Yeah, we're going to see Frank's hair in this
Oh.
video. It's incredibly thick. I don't know how he does it. We're just going to play it through. Let's hear what Bo, I guess he's going to do the intro.
Well, welcome back to Special Report. That was a trailer to the film Stallone, Frank, that is. And we have the subject of that movie, Frank Stallone joining us right now on Special.
Oof. All right. Frank style you.
Stallone, a little flub there.
It's all right. We're all human. It's okay, Bo.
Yeah.
You're okay, Bo.
I mean, it's right at the beginning. You can kind of cut and retake it, but whatever.
It's
Just
live,
rock and
man.
roll.
I love how he says, welcome back.
They came back from a commercial break.
I don't know. This is what I mean. I hate these fake news, literally fake news channels. Okay. I went on his website, like his actual videos. I don't see any other. I don't know. Are they there? I don't know.
Was this just a special? This is a lot of work to put into this.
But Doug, you go through his videos. Maybe there's a standalone site for this news, quote unquote, news network, and it's on a different YouTube site. It's just not on his, but this episode is, if that makes sense.
Looks like he's using one of those filters that brings your eyes really close together.
Yeah, his eyes are very close together. You know what they kind of look like, the Bo and the lovely woman in the middle. You know when you're creating the character on a computer game, you're trying to figure out the proper eyes and nose length.
Yep.
So you're not quite there yet. Like, no, I don't think I can watch. I don't think I can watch the whole game this way. I've got to change a little.
Report. Frank, it's an honor to have you with us today.
Well, thank you, Bo. Thank you, ladies.
My
Nice
pleasure.
to see you.
Frank, it seems
He
you
has
always
no
had a
idea what their
natural
names
talent
are.
to.
Yeah, thank you both. Thank you, ladies.
Yeah, he has no idea.
I don't understand why celebrities are like this. Frank has more money than I have. Like, he has more spending money than I have. Buy a microphone. He's on
Yeah,
enough shows.
no.
Why don't you get a microphone?
At least he's not using his phone for this one.
They got him set up good. They made sure he was in the studio before they went quote unquote live.
Perform, and as someone who has had a similar gravitation to music, it kind of creates an itch that you just have to scratch. Is that how you felt when you learned that you loved music?
Yeah, I started at 6 years old. So basically, I've been singing my whole life. I turned professional at 15.
I love how he talks about turning professional, Doug. Like it's some sort of sport, or like he went pro at 15. What's your understanding of that when he says that?
He got paid for something. That's when you go professionals, you get paid to do whatever it is you do. Is that when the Battle of the Bands was that he won?
Well, yeah, he went pro at 15, so it's very, very possible that he was a pro musician when he won Battle of the Bands in high school.
In his mind, if he won money for it, then he's a professional musician.
Right. Yeah.
Of course, illegally back then. But so I was playing Beatles songs in bars when the Beatles were still on the radio. So that's how far back.
Are the Beatles not on the radio anymore?
No, they're off the radio now.
I hear them all the time. In fact, our local New York classic rock station has a 2-hour block called Breakfast with the Beatles every Sunday. I hear them on the radio all the time. It's crazy.
1965. I don't want to scare you, ladies. That's a long time ago.
Oh, no. Age is but a number.
31 cents, 28 cents a gallon. Yeah.
Wow. Well, Frank, you've been a prolific composer, and everyone knows your famous song, Far From Over.
Prolific composer. Everyone knows your one-hit wonder.
Not everybody.
Not everyone. My wife doesn't know that song. If I showed her Far From Over, she might say, I think I might have heard that song, but she wouldn't be able to tell me it's Frank Stallone.
I could probably play it for every single one of my friends and family, and nobody would know it.
Becky only knows Frank Stallone exists because of that reality show. That's it.
John Travolta's 1983 film, Staying Alive. So how hard is it to catch lightning in a bottle and create such a smash hit?
How hard is it to catch lightning in a bottle and do nothing with it for the rest of your life?
Well, that's exactly what it is. It's like he caught lightning in a bottle, which is like a 1 in a billion chance. And now he's on the other 999,999,999.
Good job on the math on that one.
I'm off.
It's close enough. Yeah, this is the problem with Frank is he is a one-hit wonder, essentially. They literally brought up the one big hit that he had with the one film that everyone, or the majority of the people would know that song from his catalog. And he actually resents it. And I wonder if this interview is going to speak to anything where he could have been something. I don't know. Don't tell me, Doug. Don't tell me.
I don't even remember.
You don't remember?
I watched it once and I have a memory like a goldfish.
Well, it's actually one of the quickest songs I ever wrote. And the funny thing is, it was kind of autobiographical because by the time Staying Alive came out, I'd been a musician probably 18, 19 years.
Stop making me do math, Frank. You said he went pro. Yeah, well, he went pro at 15, but he started playing music at 6. And then he says he's been playing music for 18 years. Now
he started singing at 6.
Oh, okay. If he went pro at 15, 18 years, he's 34. This movie came out 40 years ago. He's in his 70s. Sure. Okay. We'll give it to him. Okay. I'm just getting a little bit lost in the math here. That's all.
With minimal success. So actually, I sent the song to President Trump. I thought it'd be great for him. Yeah. I am down, but I am far from over. But obviously, that didn't happen. But
did that girl go, what?
Let's go back. Did she say that? Now, his segue was terrible. He talked about how the song came out, it was a big hit. He'd been playing music for 18 nights. His segues, as you know, listening to our show, Doug, his segues are incredible. It's hard to keep up. He'll literally be talking about one thing and just boom, like hard left, hard right.
He just like goes stream of consciousness. Whatever pops into that empty head of his is what he talks about.
So actually, I sent the song to President Trump. I thought it'd be great for him. Yeah. I am down, but I am far from over. But
she said, what? What? Yeah. I think she was saying it more like, I think she was like, in a positive way, kind of like, wow, it's amazing. What?
Oh, yeah.
Like, you did that for real? What?
Yeah.
But yeah, I sent it to him, but obviously he didn't use it. He didn't take it. To Frank's credit, we always give him credit where credit's due. We were fair on this show. I think at the very least we're fair. That actually would have been a good song for Trump's campaign, honestly.
I agree.
Yeah.
It rocks. I think it would have gained a lot of hype for his campaign.
I would have celebrated with Frank had that song been selected.
Oh yeah.
Because to hear him talk about it would have been amazing.
Oh
So-
yeah. That would have given months of content.
He probably would live another 5 years just to be able to tell the story that if Trump wins the presidency and Frank's song was part of that campaign, can you imagine?
Mm-hmm.
Frank would have had his own Rocky moment. He would have been like, my song was the song that elevated Trump.
That would have made all his failures redeemed. That would have been his redemption, because he's so far up Trump's ass right now. Not just right now. He's been up there for a while, but it's just, all his failures would have been redeemed. I also like when they put his name down here, they go actor, musician. Like they put actor first.
I thought that too. Why actor first? That's odd.
I don't know.
He's at that weird part in his celebrity where maybe more people think of him as an actor, to be honest with you. I don't know. He's been in 81 straight to video type films other than Tombstone. So it's possible he is seen as a D-list actor over a musician. I wonder. Isn't
he touring the world as a musician?
No, he hasn't been on tour since 2018.
I say that in jest because I was I went on his I went on his website before, frankstallone.com, and he plays at one place. The Vibrato Grill Jazz, whatever the hell that is.
Is that
Vibrato,
the Mexican or Italian, whatever? Sorry, Mexican.
Vibrato Grill? Yeah. Yeah, I think that's it. Vibrato Grill.
Bless his heart. Bless his heart.
Obviously, that didn't happen, but
it should.
I thought it would have been a good.
I agree, Bo. It should have. We agree with Bo.
From one musician to another, Bo. You're correct.
Kickoff to his thing, what he's doing.
Yeah, I mean, as someone who has been in Hollywood for quite some time, you have maintained your conservative beliefs and your support of President Trump, as you were just talking about. So have you found this to be a deterrent in your career? And do you feel that conservatives have to hide their true beliefs?
I'll give them some sort of credit here I wish their names were under the, I don't know we just know who Bo is. I would love to give credit to the other two females of what their names are, because we have Tara and Michelle. But they're reading a script, which isn't bad. It gives it the sense of this is a news piece. But the problem is it's not real news. It's made to look like it's real, but it's not.
I actually thought it was a real shame on me because I watched it on my phone. I thought it was a real newscast.
Yeah, so for our listeners, there's a title here. It says A Conservative in Hollywood. So they got these very professional graphics. It's a special report, it says. Look at that, special report under Frank. They've got a picture here of Sly and Frank with Trump. That was probably, looking at Sly's face there, that was Surgery 2016.
Yeah, Trump looks old, but he doesn't look that old. So I might have even said maybe a little earlier than that.
2014 maybe? Yeah.
14, 13, sure.
Some do and some don't. It's like an old Western. I'm particular with who I drink with. So my friends mostly are somewhat like-minded, and there's some that are very like-minded that kind of keep it quiet because unfortunately the First Amendment right doesn't seem to work in Hollywood.
And I know what he's saying. I'm not even saying he's necessarily wrong. I work in the military, so I'm not even in Hollywood. So what he is expressing is actually something that exists in a lot of different places. They have the old saying, don't talk church and politics at work, right? Mm-hmm. There's a reason why. So you do have free speech in the sense of you can say something. It's a fine line between having a belief. Like you can't be fired from your job because you're Christian or because you're Muslim. That's against the law. There's laws against that. You can't do that. But at the same time, I'll use Tom Cruise, the Scientologist, as something that everyone can kind of agree on. So he kind of ruffled Steven Spielberg's feathers during Minority Report, came on the set with his Scientology tent and camp and try to proselyte throughout the crew. And Steven's like, no, this is too much. Did Tom Cruise have his right as an American citizen to talk about his belief system? Absolutely. Is it the time and place to do it during the movie set? Let's just focus on the movies. Now back to my military. I'm in the military. I'm actually not allowed to really say online, social media, who I'm going to vote for, even though I'm in the very institution that defends their right to do so.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You know, me being a cop, I've had...
You're a police officer?
I am. Did you not know?
No, I didn't know that.
Some of my coworkers have been brought up on departmental charges for things that they have posted on Facebook in the past.
Yeah.
Getting in trouble for that kind of thing was kind of new at the time. So
Right.
I think everybody's a little bit more smarter. That doesn't sound right, about what they post online. But for Frank here, his qualifier is in Hollywood, which, being a conservative in Hollywood, could affect acting gigs. You know what I mean? You could be blacklisted from right out of the business for being outwardly conservative.
I understand that Hollywood's it's a liberal institution. It's just the way it goes. It's like the NRA. It's a conservative institution. Are there liberals who are part of the NRA? Yeah. Are there conservatives who are part of Hollywood? Yeah. But you kind of have to know what playground are you in. And that's just part of life. So Hollywood doesn't get a pass because my military doesn't get a pass. Your police department doesn't get a pass. It's social construct. It's just the way life goes. So have your belief system, but know your audience. You and I will have conversations before we record that we're not going to have on the air. You just have to know who your audience is.
And it's sad. I mean, it's sad that you can't have your own beliefs without being blackballed and ruined and destroyed.
Who's the last person that got blackballed, ruined, or destroyed? I'm just trying to think of some big celebrity, like bigger names who truly got...
For political views or just in general? Kevin Spacey, you could go back to...
Touching people, though.
Yeah, well, that's what I'd say. Generally, a bunch of people have recently, but Gina Carano is a good example.
She's a good example of someone who put on, she did the, or her profile of her Twitter was identify as bleep blop bloop or something like that. That's what she got in trouble for.
Yeah, it was something so stupid.
I agree it's stupid, but if I'm in this institution called Hollywood, I probably wouldn't have done it myself. It's the biting the hand that feeds. If this is the institution you're part of, you have decided to be a part of, or just start your own companies, which people have done, which I think is great too. There's Angel Studios. Mel Gibson has his own company. If you're not part of quote unquote Hollywood, you could also be an independent, which a lot of people are, and that's fine too. And people will either support or not support those institutions.
Yeah, you can find great success that way.
And people have actually. Yeah. Hollywood is not viewed the same way that it used to be.
And my theory is, how do you cancel me? Do you take my voice away? Do you take my guitar skills away? Do you take my song? So
No, you've done it yourself.
Yeah.
We don't have to do anything.
What do you mean? Take all that away? Hasn't it already been? I thought you fouled up your relationship with Hollywood 40 years ago.
He's right. He's uncancelable. Nobody cares. Just like any other D-list celebrity. There's certain celebrities where it's just like, I hate to say it, the people that care don't care. Right.
Unfortunately, the few fans that Frank may have, you don't want to cross off half of them by coming outwardly. He's been an outward conservative for a long time now, so he's probably lost any liberal fans he might have had.
But I wonder what the Venn diagram is between liberal political party type people and Frank Stallone fans. I wonder if there is a Venn diagram overlap.
Doubt it.
Do you think there's a liberal fan of Frank's that's under 30?
It's like, could you make a Venn diagram with 5 people?
You can't cancel me. So basically, would I be working in cheesy films? No, but I don't care. So,
well, just to piggyback on that, you mentioned Westerns. Let's talk about John Wayne. There was a time when John Wayne, Ronald Reagan, Charlton Heston, and others were active in the GOP as actors. So at what point did you notice that there was this change where it became forbidden to have free speech or diversity of affiliation in Hollywood?
I think it started probably in the probably in the millennium, because, shows like All in the Family, the Jeffersons, and they could never be shown now, which is ridiculous because they're just comedies. It's not real life. But that's the sad aspect of it.
If I get $1 for every time I hear you can't make that today, I might just.
I know. Blazing Saddles. You can't be made today. All in the Family. Can't be made today. I'm tired of hearing it. He's not wrong about that.
He's not wrong, but but what's the argument here? I know what they're saying. Mm-hmm. Jerry Seinfeld. He made a comment, which I thought was great. If I could find the clip, I'll probably insert it here.
I did an interview with The New Yorker, and I said that the extreme left has suppressed the art of comedy. I did say that.
Yeah.
That's not true. It's not true.
No?
No. And the other thing that I have said about this, if you're Lindsey Vonn, if you're a champion skier, you can put the gates anywhere you want on the mountain. she's going to make the gate.
Right.
That's comedy. Whatever the culture is, we make the gate. You don't make the gate, you're out of the game. The game is, where is the gate? How do I make the gate and get down the hill in the way I want to? So does culture change? And are there things I used to say that I can't say, that everybody's always moving? Yeah, but that's the biggest, easiest target. You know, you can't say certain words,
Right.
you know, whatever they are,
Yeah.
versus about groups. So what?
Uh-huh.
The accuracy of your observation has to be 100 times finer than that to just be a comedian. So these larger cultural themes
Yeah.
of this is not considered acceptable, this is not acceptable.
Yeah.
So I don't think as I said, the extreme left has done anything to inhibit the art of comedy.
Right.
I'm taking that back now officially.
Gotcha.
They have not.
Right.
Do you like it? Maybe, maybe not. It's not my business to like or not like where the culture is at.
Yeah.
It's my business to make the gate.
Right.
To stay with my skiing analogy. You make the gate or you're out.
The voice of the people, which is the public. That's just what it is, Frank. And this is what it is to Jerry, and he understands this. The goal line has been changed. You just have to figure out a new way to score. Yeah, he says, yeah, I can't tell the jokes I told in 1990. Okay, how can I be funny today? So it's not a question that left wing, you can't make Blazing Saddles say, no, you can't. But can you still make a funny film? Okay, the public's changed the goalposts. So how do I navigate today's waters and still be funny? So that's what Frank has to figure out, or these actors or directors and writers who want to do a Blazing Saddles. Okay, but you can still make a funny film. You just got to figure out how to do it with today's goalposts.
Fair enough. I have very deep feelings on the state of comedy these days that I'm going to reserve.
Well, people are having a hard time navigating that. I'm not prepared right now to tell you the last funny movie I saw, and I'm being honest with you. I'd have to look and see what's the last thing that made me LOL. It's tough.
We've lost our sense of humor, I think. I think we've lost our sense of humor. I mean, when you look at the old Dean Martin roast or the old Johnny Carson show.
I know what he's saying, but it's not true. The Dean Martin roast is freaking Disney compared to the Tom Brady roast. Are you kidding me?
Back then, comedy was groundbreaking. But when you watch old comics now, it's just not funny.
Maybe movies, like we're saying, okay, maybe it's a hard time to find a comedy movie, but stand-up comedy, the most popular stand-up comedy right now is actually the non-politically correct comedy. The Dave Chappelle's, Bill Burr, Kill Tony, and hit the comedians that come on his show. Comedy now may not be films, but the format is reaching millions more than it ever did back in the 50s.
Right.
Yeah, of course it's probably a little crazy, but it's funny. It's not making a statement about the state of the nation.
Well, it actually should be. That's what good comedy does. Comedy does make statements about. That's what makes Dave Chappelle really good and something, because you can make your statements through humor. That's just my opinion, but
they're like long form comics, like Dave Chappelle. Like, he's a storyteller,
right?
Not your run of the mill guy. I think they're better off leaving politics alone. Make fun of people, sure. Make fun of Trump. Make fun of Harris, Joe Biden. Make fun of everybody. Tell your jokes, but don't make a political statement ever.
Right, you're right about that. Yeah, I don't know why it's happened, but it's nice to see that finally. I don't know why it's safe to do so, but Saturday Night Live, for whatever reason, has now found it safe to make fun of Kamala and Biden. I don't know if you've caught that on Saturday Night Live. They haven't done that at all, but now they got Dana Carvey coming on playing Biden, doing a kick-ass job playing Biden. Yeah.
Maya Rudolph playing Kamala. Yeah, it's been pretty funny, actually. Yeah. Shane Gillis a comedian has a fantastic Trump impression, does a fantastic Trump impression. And he was fired off of Saturday Night Live before he even filmed an episode for saying something. He made fun of a Chinese accent or Chinese Asian accent on a podcast 10 years ago that they brought up, and he ended up getting fired for it. So they asked him to come back on and for the whole season do only Trump, and he told them to go fuck themselves.
Yep. Yeah, that's awesome.
Love it.
Just a statement, it's comedy. And I think, it's I grew up, I'm the son of a Italian that came over from Italy. And I lived in neighborhoods in my life that were all kinds of people, Jewish, Polish, Irish, Italian, everything.
And you guys all got along. It was gravy. There
They
was
call
no
those
problem.
the ghetto.
I don't know what he's going to say, but again, it's this idea of, yeah, we all got along. Nobody ever called anyone names or had fights. There's no gangs.
Oh yeah, right. There wasn't Polish gangs against Irish gangs or Italian gangs. No, it was all like like kumbaya in the streets of Manhattan.
You know, so you didn't mention black people there. I don't think.
No, they didn't. It was all European immigrants.
Yeah. You know, these European white nations, they all live together in peace.
And we really didn't have these problems because I think some of the reason was everyone worked and had a job. They didn't have time to sit around and, sit there and out there protest and start trouble and, things like that. I mean,
It was all peaceful, everyone getting along, no one sitting in the back of the bus problems or going to school it was easy. It was good for everybody. Good times, good memories.
crime, there was petty crime, but I mean, I never saw a kid carry a knife to school or a gun to school. They'd do it with their fists and that would be it. They'd shake hands and go to lunch, but I think we live in a very tumultuous time. It's very scary. It's very scary.
It's only because people keep saying it is. Doug, there was murders back then too. There was assaults, sexual assaults, murders, gang fights, drug use, abandoned family. Like, the irony is it was the parents kicking the crap out of their kids back then a lot more rampant than they are now.
The thing I don't disagree with him on is that kids don't just fight it out and call it a day anymore.
Yeah, you and I are the same age. Absolutely. I mentioned this on one of my shows, I think, where it used to be back in the day that, you...
One-on-one.
That's right. But this is your fight. You're my friend, but this is your fight. It's not going to be 2-on-1, nothing. They'd have the fight. There was always a loser. So, okay, I'm done. But nobody ever made fun of the loser. It was you both showed up and you did shake hands, say, that's it, we're done. And the beef was done. It was done. You didn't talk about it anymore. You didn't bring it up anymore. If somebody got bullied, you say, I'm sick of you bullying me. I'm going to fight you at the bike racks. And even if that guy that was getting bullied still lost, the bully's kind of like, ugh, I don't want to keep doing this fight. Like, they would stop.
Right.
They would actually stop.
A lot of times, they would make quick friends out of two people because, getting into a fist fight, it's like an intimate thing. Believe it or not, it's strange the human psyche how that works, but yeah, it's like an intimate thing.
I don't know what the psychology of this is, but I remember fights, but they weren't often, but they were often enough that I remember them. They happened, but then life went on, and no parents were called, no teachers were called, nobody was suspended. It was just like they worked it out and. Nobody went to their home to their dad, or if the kid had a black eye, the dad was like, well, you showed up. And the dad was probably, well, you did what you had to do. You showed up to the fight. And that was it. A really quick story here. This was like my oldest son was in 5th or 6th grade. We got a call from the school saying, oh, your son's been in a fight. He's like the sweetest, like, what? He got into a fight? This kid's like... And so we picked him up. He had to come home for the day or whatever. So I said, like, what happened, buddy? He goes, well, my buddy was... He was getting teased on the playground, and these kids were tripping him, and there was 2-on-1. So I jumped in to help him out. I'm like, buddy, we're off to Dairy Queen to get a Blizzard. Yeah. You did exactly the right thing. Your buddy was 2-on-1, getting picked on and bullied, and you stepped in and helped him out. You did it, buddy. You stepped up for your friend. Of course, you didn't leave him stranded on the yard and getting kicked in the head. You jumped in and helped him out.
I tell my kids the same thing. Like if you if you fight because someone's messing around with you. Not you starting it, but if you fight back and you end up getting suspended, I said, we're going for ice cream.
And what scares me more than anything, we talk about nuclear war. And
was your hair falling out or?
What is with him wiping his nose constantly?
I don't know. He keeps wiping his nose. There is something going on with his nasal. Frank, let us know. Like, is it allergies maybe? Maybe
Frank, let us know.
What scares me more than anything, and I told my friends, I said,
black people?
There it is.
They're really scared. Kamala Harris to me is probably...
Oh, sort of right, but...
That's more scary than anything, because she is probably the least qualified person on the earth to run this great land of ours.
Wow.
I mean, you just...
7.5 billion people, and she's the least qualified out of all of them?
Yeah.
Frank, if you want people to take you seriously, you can't use hyperbole that thick.
She's more qualified than me.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't even know where the White House bathroom is. I don't know anything in U.S. politics enough to step in and do it or who to call. Okay, you don't like her. That's fine. That's, again, free speech. That's totally fine. We all know you're not voting for her. That's fine. Holy smokers.
Jesus. I put it on silent too, but
Yeah. What do you think? Do you think that's the right silent? Or
there's a couple of
oh boy,
that bypass my sleep mode, and work is one of them. They're calling me probably for overtime.
Dom never had this issue.
God damn it! I dropped the ball on day one.
You just see it, the giggling. There's no answers. It's just silly, and she doesn't complete a thought. She has no plan.
Much like Frank's own interviews, he never completes a segue thought or anything.
Word salad.
Yeah,
he's got some nerve.
And that to me is really scary because she's backtracking on everything, but to fund the police and all these things that went on in Minnesota, you have someone like that pulling the strings. It's like President Trump says, it's literally a disaster, and that's what scares me more than anything. That terrifies me. Our military is depleted as it is, and crime rate, what's happening at the border. I mean, I live in California. I'm not too far from San Diego, and they're just pouring it.
Yeah, I love how this news show, they're showing a bunch of non-white people are running next to the wall. Look at this. They're pouring in, man.
It's like AI bringing up a clip to associate what he's talking about. Let me get some illegals crossing the border.
I'll give them credit. They have some decent editors on the show. They make it seem like this is live. It's not. They did the interview and they pieced it all together. Their post-editing is pretty on point.
Scared to death because if you defend yourself, you're the bad guy.
In what world is it written that if you defend yourself, you're the bad guy? He was talking about the illegals coming in and all the crimes and stuff, and he's like, but if you defend yourself, you're the bad guy. You have the right to defend yourself.
Yeah, if somebody attacks you, please, by all means.
Yeah.
Put your hands up.
Yeah, by all means, yes.
So people are afraid, so they stay in. I mean, Beverly Hills you could shoot a cannon down streets in Beverly Hills and not hit anybody. Nobody goes out. People are getting robbed in Beverly Hills.
Which one is it?
Yeah. Does nobody go out, or are they out getting robbed?
That's not the California I grew up in. I mean, California I came to was, like a beach blanket bingo party. Everyone was healthy.
Everyone was white.
Looking. You didn't worry about, if your husband bought you a beautiful ring or your wife bought you a beautiful watch, that you can't wear it. It's just, it's absolutely ridiculous. And,
are people just like going on the beach and just like pickpocketing and robbing people's rings? And these families on the beach are being constantly robbed by people. Like, it's such an odd.
Is that what he meant by beach blanket bingo party?
That's what's scary to me. And I'm not a political pundit at all.
No shit. Thank God.
But I grew up with common sense. I mean, it just makes sense that this woman is not ready for prime time, and either is Waltz. I mean, he's got skeletons falling out of the closet left and right, And the thing that's going on with the Palestinian protests against the Jewish people, that's unheard of. That's insanity.
This is a shitty show because Frank, he's going on his soliloquy and he's giving them plenty of breaks in talking for them to jump in and either follow up with a question or interject something, but they don't. They let him pause and then keep going with, again, another stream of consciousness.
They don't interject at all or any kind of follow-up questions. The things that we're bringing up, you got to push back a little bit. Where are you getting the crime stats? Or I'd ask, even if Trump wasn't running, who would you consider to be in the Conservative Party? Just something. It's over and over again, the same thing.
Even if you want to stay on the topic that he's talking about, just a follow-up of any kind.
Yeah, they're very quiet. There's three of them. They haven't said anything.
Yeah.
1933 Germany. I mean,
oh, the good old days, right, Frank?
See, you idiots don't jump in, and now we're back to 1933 Germany.
I know.
And no one speaks out in Hollywood. All these rich billionaires that run the industry of the Jewish faith, I haven't seen one of them come forward and say anything. And that's
he's leaking.
What is leaking out of his nose?
I don't know.
Horrible thing. I mean, I grew up with a lot of Jewish friends. It was part of, growing up in America, all kinds of people, and we respected everyone's religion and race and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, race. Nobody gave anyone any other races any problems back in the 50s. Did you hear any problems about the 60s or 50s with races there, Doug? Any issues you know about? Or
I can't recall a single one. And the Jews, let's go a little farther back. Let's say the 30s. The Jews were safe as
Oh.
anything then.
Yeah. The Japanese, nothing ever happened to them during World War II. Everyone got along back then. I don't know what he's
No,
talking
it was
about.
beautiful, wonderful
Beautiful
time.
We didn't have trouble like that, Bo?
Well, Frank, I want to get your opinion. What were your thoughts in the aftermath of both the first and second, I can't believe we have to clarify their assassination attempts on President Trump's life? I mean, this was an inch away from a JFK situation.
Yes. Well, I'm a competitive shooter. I shoot trap and skeet, and I do long range shooting out to not as far as some of these guys, but almost 1,000 yards. And that was a 223. And if he wouldn't have turned his head, that would have been the end of Donald Trump. And then the other thing with this clown with the AK-47, which is not a long range weapon, it's a combat short range weapon. So when they say 400 yards, he was 400 yards from where the potential shooter was when he was on that green. Now, if he had gone to where that green was, that's a 50-yard shot. And that would have been...
And then if he walked right up to Trump and was 1 foot away from him, he'd be 1 foot away from him. Yes, of course, the closer you are, the more deadly the weapon's going to be.
He's what if in the shit out of this.
Yeah. What if? Well, it didn't happen. And look, nobody wants anyone dead.
Even imagine why they don't have sniffing dogs out there. I mean, before the president goes playing golf, these Belgian Malinois can, sense anything that moves, bomb dogs or stuff like that.
What are the dogs smelling for? Another human?
Yeah, I don't... Artillery? I don't know. Is it?
I guess they're smelling for a gun. I guess they have guns, but they're going to be confused by all the cops and security too. So I don't know. How do they sniff out a different weapon?
But the Secret Service did the best they could with what they had. But I think they got to trump it up. I hate to say the word, trump it up a little bit. But I think it was terrified. I did a talk on Donald Trump, and I almost went to tears. And
I want to know where this talk is. Where is this talk? And if anybody knows where that thing is that public?
Oh, I wouldn't even know where to begin looking.
Frank Stallone TED Talk on Trump? Can you imagine?
A TED Talk. Oh, God.
I was saying, I believe, save Donald Trump so Donald Trump can save us.
Okay.
He didn't coin that. I've heard that 100 times from 100 different people.
Okay. But this is where you're going to get me riled up. If there is a God and he's up there and he's doing things, he or she or whatever, this entity of power. Okay. If I was God and I truly wanted America to be saved.
Jesus. You sit up there in your snowy ivory tower up in Canada looking down on us.
If I really wanted you guys to be saved and I was a God that wanted this to happen, why couldn't you just put someone in a position who just wasn't so controversial? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Like, there's got to be somebody else you could just... Doug, you would be a great candidate. That's why you're handsome, you're clean, you don't have any skeletons in your closet. You get what I'm saying? You're just one person I know. I'm just saying, if you're an all-powerful God, why is Trump the guy? But I'm rebutting the God statement because I'm trying to analyze this all-powerful being, saying, I'm going to tilt his head to the left just so he gets nicked.
Right.
To show you how close it could have been. Like, why that narrative, God? Like,
he waved his holy hand at the last minute to make Trump's head tilt.
Oh, please. He also probably should have shut off the mics on that interview in the bus or whatever at the same time. While you're at it, God, why don't you shut off the hot mics?
That's what I believe. I believe it was a divine intervention. When you're talking not even an inch, you're talking this much.
Why does God deal with inches? Why not just eliminate the gun? Why not give the shooter a heart attack? He got killed. Think about it. He got blown away anyways. Why not just give him a heart attack on the spot? You get what I'm saying?
Well, God moved that bullet away from Trump to strike that fireman in the head and kill him.
I dare say the fireman father, if you want to do checks and balances, who might be a more decent human on this planet. Yeah, God took out the father of a young family, but kept Trump. Yeah, that's how God works. The fireman can't save America. Oh, shut up.
The good Lord has a plan for him to save us. I mean, usually you don't get away from those shots. And the
yeah, usually when somebody points a gun at your head, it gets blown off. Usually. Go ask JFK how that went for him. Do we have the stat sheets on missed headshots versus headshots? Is there any chart out there that we're aware of?
I don't know. Let's look at the Navy SEAL snipers and their tally. All those Taliban guys they've taken out. Chris Kyle, one of the most prolific snipers in U.S. history, if not the most.
The movie was based on?
Yeah, American Sniper.
I still haven't seen it.
No? It's a good watch.
I can't watch it because of the fake baby scene I heard about.
Oh, really?
Have you heard about that?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like
Skip that part.
he's holding a doll. Like, come on. I love it. What I love is these news, quote unquote, news anchors don't even like break. I'll give them credit. They're not breaking a sweat on this. Now, I think they are a religious group of people, which is fine. I think the one woman is going to say God bless very quickly, but she gets cut off.
Rhetoric that's going on just puts fuel on this stuff. Why don't we just have an election, a fair election, and be at it? I have friends that are Democrats.
But I love how the narrative is if we don't win, it's not fair. But if we do win, it was fair. It can't be both ways. So that's why you have to concede, because if you'd won, someone's going to lose. So the loser has to concede. The winner will never say it's not fair. Can you imagine a winner saying, oh, this was not a fair election, I shouldn't have won? And I think it's a fair question that people have asked him, like, will you accept if you lose? And he won't say yes. It's like, well, then you can't accept the win. That's the argument I have. You have to accept both, because you can't accept your win. He might win. I don't know. But he shouldn't accept the win if he can't accept the loss.
He goes back to the idea that the Biden-Trump election was rigged, and he doesn't accept that loss. That was the crux of January 6th.
I don't know enough to even comment how elections are done, how the tallies are done, if it was corrupt. I will say this, is government or things corrupt? But sure. Since the dawn of time, men has corrupted society. From the village leader lying about the ghosts in the woods to keep the people inside the fence. Governments lie. They might even say, we do that for your own good.
Sure.
I don't really, but they don't sit there like, come after me and I don't come after them. But I've had some friends, 50 years, that have discontinued being my friend because I supported Trump, which to me is ridiculous,
Yeah,
But
really, praise
Hollywood
God.
is, yes, ma'am.
Right there. Did you hear that?
Yeah, I just want to get, before we go, we have to get to this. So you famous.
Sorry, he talks about how he's lost friends of 50 years because of his belief system, which I was part of a religion for 35 years of my life. And I lost those friends too. When I left the faith, I lost friends. People will lose friendships over politics if they treat it like a religion.
There's a reason why people say we don't bring up politics around dinner or Thanksgiving dinners, because it's divided families.
And it's unfortunate. I'm not agreeing that he should have lost a friend, but being surprised about it, especially at his age and stage of life. Like, I get it sucks, but you and I might be on different sides of the aisle, but I don't think we'd lose our friendship over it.
Right.
Discontinued being my friend because I supported Trump.
No, listen to her.
It's ridiculous,
Yeah,
But
really, praise
Hollywood
God.
is,
Praise God.
Praise God, you lost your friends, Frank.
Yeah.
Was she listening?
I think she stopped listening after he said God, because that's what she wanted to wedge in there, was praise God on whatever. Praise God the Trump didn't die or something like that.
Yeah, I just want to get, before we go, we have to get to this. So
Look at the headline here: Trump assassination attempt. Like, they make it seem that this is like a CNN broadcast.
Yeah, breaking news. A third one?
you famously boxed Geraldo Rivera on the Howard Stern show.
Yes, I
And
did.
I'm curious if you'd ever step back in the ring again. And if so, who would you like to box for charity this time?
He's 73. What a ridiculous question. They should have reworded to a degree like, if you're back in your prime, there's no way you're stepping in the ring now. But
They had just watched the documentary. They're showing the clips from the documentary, like just something that they wanted to bring up or ask him, because they don't know what else to.
look at her face. She's so pleased with herself with that question.
Yeah, I'm not boxing anymore.
No. I fought in the amateurs, and when I fought Geraldo, I hadn't been in the ring in 12 years. And in those days, I was smoking. I wasn't really training. So I only had about 3.
The headline at the bottom, folks, if you're listening, is boxing for charity.
Like it's in the future.
Yeah. He doesn't even have a charity in mind. Let me guess, he doesn't even bring up a charity. He won't even plug a charity for free. Well, I'm too old to box, but great question. There is a charity that I support. I'm not even a professional. And I know this is what you're supposed to be doing, Frank. You're supposed to say, well, that's a great question. I'm way too old to box. But if you want to support a charity, one that's really close to my heart is...
Right.
Yeah.
weeks, and Howard Stern kept badgering me every day, calling me up at 6 in the morning. I got to fight Geraldo. I said, I don't want to fight Geraldo. I don't want to fight anybody, because being a boxer, you have to really train hard for anything. So I said, okay, if I can't get away with it, I'll fight him with 10-ounce gloves and no headgear, because I can punch pretty good. I figure if I hit him on the chin, that'll be it. Well, I get there, my ribs are a little fractured, so they're shooting me up with Novocaine in the dressing room. And then they say, Frank, you have to wear headgear and 12-ounce gloves. So, but I tried to do the best I can, but I was really hurting from training. I got hit in the short ribs. And if anybody out there knows what bruised ribs are, it's not fun. But, Geraldo and I became friends. He's actually in my documentary.
You see that? They fought and then they were friends.
Geraldo lost the fight, too, I believe. I think Frank won. And there you go.
Yeah.
I'm surprised you didn't bring that up.
Everyone thought I was going to, after I won, I was going to degrade him.
Oh,
and I said,
okay.
listen,
You just did it.
There you go.
Oh, boy.
it takes a lot of guts to get in the ring, whether you're good or you're bad. And
It takes gut getting in the ring. Oh, why did you tell me that before? I don't want to hear your feelings.
I was going to degrade him. And I said, listen, it takes a lot of guts to get in the ring, whether you're good or you're bad. And I said, he's a man's man. He showed up, and he was probably 10 years older than I am, probably, or 9 years older than I am. But he showed up. But that was the largest show that Howard Stern ever had at that time. Believe it or not, it was on radio and TV.
Wow.
And it was a gimmick. People were laughing at you.
Just like we are now. I know. He's acting like this was like some big Tyson versus Paul fight or something. Like, dude.
Yeah, really? Jeez.
I would love to see the Geraldo Frank Stallone Super Fight 2 on Netflix.
When I walked out, there were like 1,000 people in the streets. You'd think I was like Muhammad Ali or something. And
No one thought that. And if anything, they're there to see Stern.
Yeah, right. Good point.
Frank, I wish we had more time with you, but
We don't.
we do have to go. Thank you so much for being with us, and thank you so much for being proud of common sense. That's what it
common
is.
sense is the thing. Thank you all. Thank you, ladies. It was beautiful. And I'll be watching the show. Thank you.
The show doesn't exist. It only exists for this
What channel
episode.
is it on? Is this on Fox News?
Yeah, I know. Where can we find this show? Because I want to watch more episodes of Real America's Voice, especially during this tumultuous time. Of course, Doug, before we close, we have a video here from Frank Stallone's Instagram. This is the write-up. This is what Frank had to say. Last night, I flew to Mar-a-Lago for the premiere of The Man You Don't Know About Donald Trump.
It's Mar-a-Lago.
Thank you. I thought I was saying it wrong, but I'm reading it as he wrote it. So
Yeah.
it sounded wrong when I read it. Thank you. I was proud to be part of this amazing film.
No, I was proud to be a part of this. A part in one word. Instead
That's right. So he was taken out. He was,
yeah.
Oh, Frank. He goes on to say, I'm not afraid of the left or Hollywood. My life is more than that. I'm reading this for the first time, by the way. The only one that canceled me is my Lord Jesus Christ. Oh, okay. All right. I'm an American who is...
Yeah. Nope, you're correct there. Go ahead.
I'm an American who is concerned about our future of our country, which is our God-given right. What?
Holy crap.
How much communion wine did you drink, Frank, before you wrote this? The film's, it's supposed to be
Apostrophe
ownership.
S.
Yeah, apostrophe S, but it's more than one film. The film's release is this Friday, the 25th, in 900 theaters around the country. I implore you to get out and vote for Trump. If he loses, we all lose. This sounds like a tagline. The repercussions will last for decades. Well, he won't be around long enough to worry about that, so he'll be fine. I'm also with country's mayor, Rudy Giuliani, who was our savior on 9/11.
Has he been named the country's mayor? He was the mayor of New York City.
Well, yeah, he was there on ground zero, and yeah, that was his big moment. And then show up and vote in person and be heard. So here's the video. We got to show it, of course. You got Trump here. He's got his meltdown, the Trump mouth.
Oh,
I love
yeah.
it. I love it.
There he is.
Oh, I see. This is an actual film. What is this film? The Man You Don't Know. Is this a real film? It must be.
I don't know. I've been seeing clips of him, the younger man, speaking about like the country and stuff.
Yeah.
So it's probably a lot of that. We had Frank taking a picture with Trump, Frank taking a picture with Rudy Giuliani, Frank standing outside the entrance to the world famous Mar-a-Lago Country Club, owned by good old Donald Trump.
No ratings yet on Rotten Tomatoes. It's an inside and exclusive look at the 45th president of the United States, says the person and not the persona as portrayed by mainstream media. Okay. All right. I suspect he probably had a heavy hand in the editing.
Yeah.
Trump, Donald, that is.
I want to check it out just to.
We're going to have to. We're going to have to. Okay.
Endorsed by Frank Stallone.
Yeah. I know this is kind of a mishmash, pish-posh first debut episode for Doug. I apologize. We're usually a little bit better prepared, but like I said, I saw this video on my news feed. The Real American Voice show had Frank Stallone on it. This is tumultuous times in your country, Doug, and I wanted to make sure the people heard the voice of Frank as he sways the votes. Maybe we shouldn't release this episode until after the election because I don't know if we should have that kind of effect on the polls. We're like the Taylor Swifts of Donald and Frank. So if we show this episode the same way Taylor is vouching for Kamala, we're not vouching for Trump, but I'm saying by us releasing this episode with Frank talking about Trump, we might sway voters. It's going to break even.
Out of the dozens of Frank Stallone podcasts that there are out there, maybe hundreds, we're the premier, covering the premier endorser of Donald Trump. I don't see any way we couldn't sway the vote.
Yeah, this is a very powerful, moving plea to the citizens of the U.S. We learned a lot. We learned about things were better when Frank was younger. Send us an email, folks. Let us know what your thoughts are. Tell us what you think of Doug's debut episode of Frank Stallone. Who is this guy?
Thank you for having me. This was a lot of fun, and I'm looking forward to the next one.
Absolutely. There will be a next one. There's too much to cover. We still have to get through that other interview with Lauren. She's wonderful. By the way, I'm going to link the episode or link my site. Hopefully it's out by the time I link it. But Lauren came on my Worst of the Best podcast. She was amazing. She's beautiful. She's lovely. She was a great guest on that podcast. So check it out. And she was a great sport. And she chewed my ear off about what I did wrong. And I ate crow. Okay. All right. Thanks, everyone.
That concludes another episode of Frank Stallone. Who is this guy?